Okay, part two. Um, so the cook oven I've been using a bit more lately. Um, Breakfast and most dinners are done on the other fireplace. I just cook on the top surface because it's normally going anyways for our heat throughout the day. I really only use the cook oven when I'm baking something, or we just need a little extra heat in here to help the wood we brought in dry. So I've learned a couple of things about it. I was having the hardest time getting the temperature of the oven up past 300. I tried and tried and tried. I read the book. This doesn't give you much detail. Um, so Dan kind of experimented with it for me one day. Um, it's difficult when you first start it and it's cold because all the smoke likes to come out. It has a problem drafting up the pipe. So sometimes we'll use the blowtorch if I'm just not in the mood to be smoked out. We'll use the blowtorch, heat the pipe real quick, and it drafts no problem, smoke right up. We're trying to get away from that because we want to be self-reliant as much as possible. So we found, and everything's just a mess right now because we got more stuff out of storage and I have to find places to put it all. So we found when we start it, if you put 2 pots on top of these, it kind of helps the smoke from coming out, because right now, this is just, this goes right down into the fire pot, because it's got a hole right there. So if you I usually put the cast iron pots on them to cover both of the holes, and the smoke doesn't come out through there, which is where it normally comes out. And we've noticed when we start, you're supposed to have these intakes open, but the smoke will just come billowing right out of them. So when we start it, we have to keep them both closed. We just prop the door open just a little bit, and it gets enough airflow in to get it started. But you have to use a lot of smaller kindling to get it started and going nice and warm. Once the surface is warm, and you really have to like jam it full of wood for the oven to really kick on high. I don't know. I think I've made bread 4 or 5 times, and only once did it come out well. The very first time, actually, it cooked really well. I cooked it longer because it only came up to 300, so I cooked it a lot longer. It came out, but then the other times, it just was terrible. I mean, we couldn't even eat it once because by the time you pull it out, it looks like it's done on the outside, and then when you cut into it after it cools, it's all like gummy, so it wasn't cooked, and it was just, when you're in pain and you go through all the work to knead all the dough and get it all done and you can't eat it, I mean, I just want to go cry. So last Friday, I made cookies and I think I made pizza dough. And the pizza looked like it was done. It was in there for over 30 minutes, which is more time than it should be in. And we cut it. I go to take a piece of pizza and the crust just falls apart because it's not done. And I told Dan, I'm done. I don't care what we eat. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. But last week was really hard for both of us. We just, with the holidays and things being different, and I've really been struggling with my pain in my hands, that I just felt like I was treading water to keep my head, doing everything to keep my head above water. And so that was kind of like Friday, Saturday, and even into Christmas Day was just like we were just struggling. So I had just had it. I walked away and turned on a movie and just ignored everybody. But he came in and he finished cooking the pizza for me. So we found the best way since then is to really jam it full of the kindling. The box isn't that big, but you have to just stack it right in there as high as you can, get it going, And that really, with all the smaller pieces of wood, it gets hot really fast. We switch the little, you pull this thing out. So that is for cooking on the surface. All the heat goes towards the top. If you pull it out, then it goes to the oven. Now, what I didn't know was I was trying to look through here, and the way the oven works is the hot air goes around this surface and out. So there's no opening in the oven at all, because obviously the smoke would get in there and make your food taste like smoke. So it really is just going around the oven, heating the inside. So once this is going really hot and you stuff it full, you switch it to the oven. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to get it up to temperature. Once it gets up to temperature, it holds that temperature really, really well. So you could, I try to, when I do this, because it's so much work and such a hassle, I try to have like 3 different things that I want to bake lined up. So usually on Fridays, I will make bread, so I can put the bread in there. I'll quick make the pizza dough while the bread's cooking. I will let the pizza dough rise, then the pizza dough comes out, and while the pizza is cooking, I try to make cookies or whatever dessert and get that baked right after. I don't think that's going to happen today, because I already did 2 loads of laundry. I did some kindling. I have to bring this wood inside over there around the fireplace to let it start drying. And then I need to bring in more wood in here to let it start drying. I have a very low energy bank, so there's only so much I can do in a day. Tonight is pizza night. We'll see if we actually have pizza, because I don't know if I'm going to be up for doing the pizza. But it has been nice to finally figure out how to use this, how to get up to temperature. Once this thing is stocked full and the kindling has burnt down a bit, then I'll take medium-sized pieces. So there's some really big pieces, but this, you know, is just too big. It takes too long. But if you take pieces probably about that size, like 3 or 4 of them, and shove it in there on top of the kindling, it gets it going really hot, and it'll hold its temperature of 400, so you can get stuff done. Another thing I have learned is that when I am cooking, you know, it can be really exhausting to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the wood stove. So I've been learning that if I'm cooking, I will cook 2 or 3 different meals in the same day. So like I make a huge pot of rice and lentils, and then I'll make, you know, a bunch of sweet potatoes if I have that for like the next night. I do it all as much as I can, so that way all I'm having to do is just reheat things quickly on the wood stove for dinner, and it's not as exhausting to every night make these big meals. So I mean, it's almost 3 o'clock now. It takes a lot longer to do things, you know, this way, but I guess it keeps me busy. The kids and I are about to bring in some wood. Then we'll sit and relax. We'll be done with like the more labor-intensive stuff, and we'll get into some schoolwork. So I don't have a set schedule yet. I know you guys were wondering what I do from day to day, but it's different every day. I'm trying to figure out a schedule that works. Unfortunately, a lot of it's here, there, and everywhere, because I don't know how I'm going to feel one day to the next. Like tomorrow, I probably, since I did so much today with my hands, I probably will not do much of anything physical tomorrow. Probably just schoolwork, maybe a movie, kind of help gear the kids into doing some chores, and that'll be it. So it is different from day to day, but like I said, Monday through Friday, I really have to get back into a schedule of, we wake up by this time, We do schoolwork at this time, chores at this time. I do have the kids do chores. The kids are involved through pretty much everything. They bring in wood when I bring in wood. Creed loves to make the kindling on the kindling cracker there. He's really good at it. He's a boy. He just likes to get aggression out, and he thinks he's awesome, and he is, for doing that for us. They vacuum. Selah helps make lunches. Like today, we're making egg salad. So they peeled the eggs, they mashed the eggs, made the sandwiches while I finished wringing out the clothes to hang them up. But they do bring in wood. They do shovel snow. They'll even bring the dogs out sometimes for us. They'll feed the dogs. They vacuum. They dust. They do everything. They fold their clothes. They put their own clothes away. So they do quite a bit of work as well. And they still have energy to go play outside for 2-3 hours. So I don't know how. They've done pretty well on our walks to and from the car. Selah does great. Creed is kind of 50-50. At night, if it's dark out, he just wants to be home. He doesn't want to have to walk home, which I can understand. There are some days I just want to cry the whole way home too, because I just don't want to have to walk. But they're doing good. They work hard and everything, so they're going to be super fit. And but that is our day today. I hope you guys are doing well. Again, if there's anything else you have questions about, let me know. I try to check it every few days when we go into town. We really were snowed in for quite a while, so I didn't get to go check. Every now and then I can get internet here, but not very often. So I do try to check and read your comments. We love you guys. We hope you guys had a good Christmas. And we will talk to you shortly.